Hello, you are watching Shalom World News. I'm Rory McLennan coming to you from Glasgow, Scotland. Here are the latest headlines from around the world. Papal Almoner Cardinal Konrad Krajewski came under attack while distributing provisions and rosaries near the Ukrainian city of Zaporizhzhia on September the 17th. The Cardinal is on his fourth visit to Ukraine with essential supplies since the war began in February this year. He was helped by a Ukrainian soldier, a Catholic prelate and a Protestant bishop to load foodstuff and other essentials in a minibus to be taken to what is the fifth largest city in Ukraine. After unloading the essential items, he and his entourage faced light arms fire, forcing them to seek cover. He told Vatican News over the phone that he did not know where to run. The Cardinal said, "We can only pray and repeat, 'Jesus, I trust in you.'" The attack took place on the anniversary of his episcopal consecration. Cardinal Krajewski was consecrated as a bishop at St. Peter's Basilica in 2013 in the presence of Pope Francis. During his Sunday Angelus, Pope Francis prayed for the victims of recent clashes between Azerbaijan and Armenia. He sought peace and dialogue between the nations. He urged both countries to respect the ceasefire in view of a peace agreement. This comes after more than 100 Armenian soldiers were killed in attacks by Azeri troops. The pontiff said, "Let us not forget that peace is possible when weapons are silenced and dialogue begins. And let us continue to pray for the suffering people of Ukraine and for peace in every land bloodied by war." The Holy Father also prayed for those who died in flood-ravaged Marche region of Italy. The United Kingdom bid farewell to Queen Elizabeth II, who was laid to rest on Monday, September the 19th in London. Close to 2,000 people, including 500 heads of state and foreign royals, took part in the funeral service in Westminster Abbey at 11 a.m. The Holy Father Pope Francis was represented by Archbishop Paul Gallagher, who is in charge of the Vatican's external affairs. King Charles III and other members of the royal family accompanied the casket of the Queen as it was taken to Westminster Abbey in the state gun carriage of the Royal Navy. During the service, the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby, delivered the homily. Later, the coffin was taken in procession to Wellington Arch as Big Ben tolled at 1-minute intervals and gun salutes fired every minute from Hyde Park. Thousands thronged the designated viewing areas along the route to have a last glimpse of the casket. In the afternoon, the coffin was taken to St. George's Chapel in Windsor Castle for a committal service attended by 800 guests. It was conducted by David Connor, the Dean of Windsor. At the end of the service, the Queen's casket was lowered into the royal vault, and later in the evening she was buried alongside her late husband Prince Philip at the King George VI Memorial Chapel within St. George's Chapel. Republican Governor Glenn Youngkin's administration in the U.S. state of Virginia has introduced a new policy regarding the treatment of transgender students. He claimed the previous guidelines disregarded the rights of parents and ignored other legal and constitutional principles that significantly impact how schools educate students. In an online post on Friday, the Virginia Department of Education said that students' participation in certain school programs and use of facilities like bathrooms or locker rooms should be based on their biological sex. Modifications are offered only to the extent required under federal law. It is also said that minor students must be referred to by the name and pronouns in their official records, unless a parent approves the use of something else. Concerning parental notification, the guidelines said school divisions may not encourage teachers to hide information about a student's gender from his or her parents. The Diocese of Phoenix became the latest in a growing number of dioceses across the United States to create an office dedicated to the Ministry of Mental Health. Bishop John Dolan of Phoenix, who lost 2 siblings to suicide over a decade ago, unveiled plans for the new office of the Catholic Mental Health Ministry toward the end of his homily at Saints Simon and Jude Cathedral in Phoenix. Each of the diocese's 15 deaneries will host regular meetings where people can share their stories and help one another. Bishop Dolan said the office will promote a spirit of advocacy, offer a voice for those who struggle with mental health, and ask those in leadership to make sure mental health is always at the forefront of discussions. The diocese will offer priests and deacons a mental health first aid kit to guide them in responding to public requests for help. More than 9,000 believers took part in the 30th Marian Day of the Family in the Spanish pilgrim site of Torre Ciudad on September the 17th. The annual event took place after a gap of 2 years with the lifting of the COVID pandemic curbs. The pilgrims were welcomed by Bishop Juan Carol Elizalde of Vitoria, who offered Holy Mass at the Marian Sanctuary. During his homily, he exhorted them to recover the promise of happiness made by God in their families in the face of conflicts, illnesses and debts. During the pilgrimage, the families also prayed for peace in Ukraine. Also present was a group of 30 Ukrainian refugees who were being taken care of by 2 non-governmental organisations. The Holy Father addressed the families in a message in which he exhorted them to be the welcoming face of the Church. While imparting his apostolic blessing, he urged them to pray for his Petrine ministry. The Catholic Church in the United States is observing National Migration Week from September the 19th to September the 25th. During this week, the American bishops are inviting believers to ponder the circumstances faced by migrants, refugees, and victims of human trafficking. In a statement, the prelates said that it is an opportunity for believers to express concern for vulnerable people and to join together in prayer. The National Migration Week has been observed since 1980. It will be marked by special masses, interfaith services and advocacy efforts. In a statement, Bishop Mario Dorsonville, the chairman of the U.S. Episcopate's Committee on Migration, made a mention of the Dreamers, Afghan refugees and Ukrainians who have fled their homeland. The bishop said, "May this week help us to experience a renewed sense of what it means to live as brothers and sisters, travelling together on the same journey." After 3 years, a pilgrimage of the icon of Our Lady of Sorrows seeking peace in war-torn Syria has come to a close. Sponsored by Pontifical Charity Aid to the Church in Need, the pilgrimage came to an end on September the 15th in the city of Homs. Believers from different denominations took part in the procession with the icon from the Syriac Orthodox Cathedral in Al-Zinar to the Melkite Cathedral of Our Lady of Peace. In the Melkite Cathedral, there was a liturgical celebration led by Archbishop Jean Abdo Arbach. It was attended by Syriac Orthodox Archbishop Mor George Abu Zakem and Archbishop Rami Kabalan of the Syriac Catholic Church. Executive President of the Pontifical Charity Thomas Heine Geldan and Father Angie Halemba, former Project Director for the Middle East, were also present during the concluding ceremony. During the 3-year sojourn of the icon, it was taken to all Catholic and Orthodox dioceses in the nation. In Nigeria, Catholic bishops and the Association of Diocesan Priests have expressed their commitment to fostering greater political awareness ahead of general elections in February next year. During their recent interactive meeting in Orlu Diocese, the prelates and priests stressed the need to work for citizens to fully engage in political issues so that the present situation changes for the better. They vowed to work to enhance the level of political awareness among people so that they make the right political choices. The prelates and clergymen also said they would mobilise the resources of the Church and its infrastructure to mobilise everyone at the grassroots to take part in the electoral process. The meeting of the bishops and priests took place with the theme Political Consciousness for Effective Choice of Political Leaders in Nigeria. Finally, the Assyrian Church of the East in Iraq has a new patriarchal headquarters. The new patriarchate was recently inaugurated in Ankawa in the city of Erbil in Iraqi Kurdistan region. It took place in the presence of the Assyrian Church of the East Patriarch Mar'awa Royal and the President of the Kurdistan Democratic Party, Masoud Barzani. The Consul General of the United States, Irvin Hicks, was also present during the event, which was attended by a large number of Christians and other Kurdish officials. During the ceremony, Mr. Barzani said that there is nothing more beautiful than a country where everyone lives as brothers. Due to various socio-political factors, the Patriarchate was forced to move from Iraq in 1933. It was in 2006 that the construction of the new Patriarchate was announced. However, it got stalled due to various reasons, including the onslaught of the Islamic State. Catholic bishops in Cameroon have condemned the attack on a church and the abduction of 5 priests, a sister, and 2 lay people in the western part of the country on September the 16th. St. Mary's Catholic Church was torched by armed men in Nchang in Mamfe Diocese. Nchang falls in the Anglophone region, where separatists are engaged in a bloody conflict with the troops of the mostly Francophone country. In a statement, the bishops of Bamenda Ecclesiastical Province expressed shock over the incidents and appealed to the abductors to release the nun, priests and lay people without delay. Cameroon is witnessing civil war in the Anglophone regions where separatists are fighting against the government seeking an independent Ambazonia. The civil war has already killed thousands and displaced 500,000 people since 2014. Amidst the ongoing persecution faced by the Catholic Church in Nicaragua, believers had enough reason to cheer when 11 new deacons were ordained on September the 16th. The ordinations took place in the Archdiocese of Managua and was led by Cardinal Leopoldo Brenes. In his homily, the Cardinal said that the new deacons are instruments of the Word. He warned them that the thoughts of power distance them as servants of Christ from their mission. Cardinal Brenes also told the new deacons that they have been called to serve as the Lord said, "I have not come to be served, but to serve." Separately, the Sandinista government has banned this year's procession in honour of St. Michael the Archangel and St. Jerome in the town of Masaya as part of the crackdown on Catholic processions. The Pontifical Charity Aid to the Church in Need has launched a campaign to support young seminarians from poor countries where Christians suffer persecution. Through the initiative entitled Seminarians in Countries of Need, ACN will support over 13,000 men through scholarships and funding. Over 100,000 men are being trained for the priesthood throughout the world currently, and the outfit will support 1 out of 8 seminarians. The Pontifical Foundation wants to support these youth following the requests of local churches, as well as the call of Pope Francis for better formation and vocational life. Around 600 projects are financed annually to respond to this need at an estimated cost of €8 million. ACN also finances the construction, reconstruction and equipping of seminaries so that seminarians have adequate facilities for their academic and spiritual formation. And those are your latest headlines. Do join us again tomorrow for more, and remember, you can also visit swnews.org for more updates. Shalom.